On the slopes of Aspermont, we scanned the golden fields below, scars left by wild boars rooting through the grass. The quiet fields seemed to silently endure the damage. Without wasting time, our team immediately laid out the hunting plan. Right at the familiar rocky clearing, the team split up, memorizing shortcuts through the forest one last time. The hunt began here, under the bright daylight, on this very mountain ridge, with the goal to stop the wild herd before the golden harvest below was stained with mud. Join us on this journey. The early sunlight slanted through the jagged rocks of Aspermont. We cut across these rugged cliffs, heading toward the hilltop. Mark chose the windy summit as our ambush spot. Clear view, sheltered from the wind, perfect to spot every movement down below. The first wild boar appeared among the bushes on the opposite hill, a dark, lumbering shape. The first shots rang out. It immediately turned, heading uphill from the valley. Mark gave orders over the radio. John and I squeezed the triggers, bullets flying in a zigzag pattern, cutting off every escape route. To control the scene, their pounding paws mixing with our heavy breaths. A promising start. Every shot was not just a warning to the herd, but a firm vow to protect the golden crops and the beloved village of Alberobello. We quickly scattered to our positions, each choosing a vantage point. I prepared carefully, scope adjusted, ammo ready, radio at hand. Below in the valley, a wild boar moved slowly, unaware it was in my sights. After a moment's observation, I fired. The bullet hit the mark. The animal staggered and fell. The hunting dogs immediately controlled the boar with practiced ease. This was the result of skill, experience, and the seamless teamwork forged between me and my four-legged partners. Proof? Another target taken down. My position gave me a wide view. After scanning further, I spotted another target. Gently raising my scope, I focused completely on the boar down the slope. Holding my breath, I squeezed the trigger decisively. The shot shattered the silence. The giant boar collapsed on the spot. At the same time, my teammates spotted a new target as well. I quickly regrouped with the team, preparing for the next tracking phase. We moved to a drier, less wooded slope. Suddenly, the team spotted a herd of wild boars creeping toward the golden fields below. The formation tightened and firing began. The long distance and their fast pace made the kill difficult, but with patience and experience, precise shots found their mark. The lead boar fell, sending the herd into panic. Over the radio, Mark continued to direct. I fired carefully, tracking their every move. Finally, the herd scattered into the deep forest. We had driven away a destructive group and taken down some tough targets, protecting the precious crops for the locals. It was a firm reminder of the guardianship our team provides for this land. Just moving through this rugged terrain was a brutal test. To conserve energy, we limited movement and relied on a drone flying overhead, tracking the situation and coordinating with the hunting dogs. Heading toward the mountain summit, a clear vantage point, we set up the ambush. Mark monitored the drone feed, giving firing orders. John and I opened fire from afar, each shot sealing off the herd's escape routes. Thanks to smooth coordination, the herd was quickly controlled. This time, the village had nothing to fear from destructive boars. Even as the afternoon waned, the sun blazed fiercely over Aspermont slopes. Sweat soaked our backs, but no one on the team faltered. The final target was a lone, massive black boar. Making its way toward the fields near Alberobello. If left unchecked, it could devastate an entire harvest overnight. We moved swiftly. The hunting dogs closed in, cornering the target. One precise shot ended it. The harvest was safe for now. Packing up, we climbed into the Range Rover, reviewing the drone footage, a tight, cinematic record of the day's action. The Aspermont hunt closed with success, but we all knew the boars would return, perhaps another day, from a different direction. Thanks for following our journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the team for future encounters. Looking out over the wide fields, my chest tightened. The earth was ripped apart, rows of corn trampled and flattened, the season's hard work gone in a single night. I couldn't just stand there. I immediately gathered my team and laid out a plan for the day. We would hunt, and we would bring peace back to this land. But in this battle, who will emerge the victor? Follow us on this brutal hunt and see for yourself. Just a few hours later, the team was already assembled at the edge of the field. We checked every rifle, every bullet, every signal device. Then, splitting into formation, we moved into our positions. Our eyes scanned the brush, the open patches of ground, the tree leans in the distance. Here, the prey could appear at any moment. Barely 10 minutes passed in our ambush. When it happened, a massive beast burst out of nowhere, charging straight toward us. Now, only meters away, I squeezed the trigger. The explosion shattered the silence, the bullet drilling straight into its forehead. It froze mid-stride, then collapsed with a bone-shaking thud that made the ground tremble. An opening like that, what do you think impressive enough? At the same time, from another blind, one of my teammates was silently watching. The tall grass ahead swayed oddly, a shadow hidden within. A dark head rose slowly, scanning the area. Deep breath, steady hands. The moment It stepped forward, bang. The shot cracked the still air. The bullet struck squarely between the eyes. The boar toppled into the grass, lifeless. After that takedown, we moved along a narrow trail that led to an open patch of dry earth. There, a lone boar was digging, completely oblivious that it had walked into our sights. I raised my rifle slowly, peered through the scope, and fired. The gunshot sounded like the seal on a sentence long decided. Another beast down. But was that the end of today's hunt? The moment we pulled up at the forest's edge, the hounds were already howling furiously up ahead. We leapt out of the truck and sprinted past bare stumps. There it was, an enormous boar thrashing by a narrow canal, trying desperately to leap across. Breath heavy, I raised my rifle. The instant it jumped, boom, my shot slammed into it, cutting its escape short. If the rest of its kind had witnessed that kill, they'd never dare to set foot in these fields again. Deeper in the woods, the faint rustle of leaves made us halt. My teammate raised his hand, stopped, rifles lifted. Silence. Then, from the brush, a colossal boar emerged. It turned, ready to bolt. Too late. The shot hit home. The beast stumbled, then tumbled headlong down a cliff. But fate had other plans. Across the rocky ridge, a massive black figure hunched, digging furiously. Exhaustion forgotten, the team fell into position, moving with flawless rhythm. I pressed my cheek against the stock, slowed my breath, and squeezed. Boom! The shot thundered across the cliffs. The beast jolted, its legs slipping off the edge, before the entire hulking body rolled down into the abyss below. The hunt ended there, in the whistling wind of the cliffs, in the acrid scent of gunpowder lingering on our hands. The monsters that had ravaged these fields and forests lay silent. The land, once more, was safe. Every step of our hunt followed the rules and laws of this region. I never thought I would one day be holding a gun, soaring through the air in a helicopter, chasing giant wild hogs across the vast plains of Texas. And yet, what seemed like an impossible task has become a reality. This has to do with Randy, a college friend of mine. He lives in Texas and was planning a daring wild boar hunt. Wild boars are invasive, reproduce rapidly, destroy crops, attack livestock, and can even be dangerous to humans. So, ranchers have taken a drastic approach to controlling them, hunting them from helicopters. Before boarding the helicopter, I had to attend a 2-hour training session accompanied by Randy and Mike, an experienced hunter, and also our trainer.
All right, here we go. Clear!
The helicopter quickly rose above the wild grasslands and sparse forests. I observed a herd of wild boars running away because the sound of the helicopter was too loud. When we were at a certain height, Mike signaled us to take aim. The noise of the helicopter drove the wild boars out of their hiding places. We were in charge of destroying them from the air. The sound of the explosion, mixed with the noise of the helicopter, caused a series of wild boars to fall. I realized that wild boars do not always stay still on the ground. They run fast, turn unexpectedly, and are very good at hiding in the bushes. Shooting from the air, while it may seem cool, is actually extremely difficult. That in the vast grasslands, hunting wild boars would be easier because our vision was also clear. As long as we aimed accurately, we could kill many wild boars at once. Herds of wild boars are seen, the helicopter will slow down, giving us an opportunity to shoot them down. Hunting wild boar by helicopter is unlike any other hunt. The helicopter must stay high enough to be safe, but low enough to shoot accurately. The pilot and shooter must work as a team, because one misstep can give the wild boar a chance to escape. No matter how fast the wild boar is, it cannot escape the sweep from the helicopter. With the naked eye, you can see dozens of wild boars lying on the field as the helicopter moves over. There are herds of pigs that are completely destroyed. Not a single one can escape. Many of you may think that the helicopter sweep of feral pigs is cruel, but it would be even crueler if we did not act, because acres of Texas farmers' crops have been destroyed by these feral pigs. If left unchecked, there could be more feral pigs than people in the state. You see, hunting wild boar with a helicopter is much more efficient than traditional hunting methods. Since the helicopter covers a large area, it also drives wild boars out of their hiding places. The more wild boars that appear, the more wild boars we kill. field, the helicopter also covered a large plateau surrounding the field. Although there were many bushes, the wild boars still had a hard time escaping our pursuit. Over the course of 2 hours, Mike and Randy and I took out dozens of wild pigs. Some were taken down instantly, others required several shots. At times, entire herds were so deeply hidden in the brush that we had to circle them several times to force them out. All the wild boars that were shot down were very large in size. Presumably, they were the lead pigs involved in the farm destruction. Helicopter wild boar usually lasts only 2 hours to ensure the health of the hunters. After landing, we inventory the spoils. Some will be given to local families. Some will be taken to slaughterhouses for meat processing. Our dramatic journey of hunting pigs from the sky has ended. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to watch more videos. I returned to Texas to visit my beloved grandmother and the lush green ranch that had been the heart of my childhood. But what greeted me was devastation, heartbreaking and raw. Corn rows torn up, fences trampled and broken, and the worried-looking grandma's eyes said it all. The culprits? Wild hogs. It was time to act. One phone call, and my closest brothers-in-arms were on the road with me. This wasn't just about the ranch anymore. It was about protecting a legacy, standing our ground, and facing down nature at its wildest. Will experience and grit be enough to overcome raw instinct and chaos? Come along and find out. The sky hadn't even started to lighten when, after finalizing our strategy, we moved out toward the grassy plains bordering Grandma's cornfields. We spread out and took position at key vantage points. Tension was high, but in every I burned a fire of determination. Scanning the ground through my binoculars, I caught sight of a shadow moving below. A hog. Without a word, David expertly banked the chopper into a steep dive, the rotors screaming as we closed in. The distance vanished in seconds. I raised my rifle, locked onto the target as it bolted through the grass, and squeezed the trigger. The dark shape jerked, then collapsed into the green. A perfect start to a day that would test every ounce of our skill. I hadn't even caught my breath from the last shot when the ground began to shake again. A fresh herd burst onto the scene, turning the vast field into a frenzy of chaos. No signal needed. David yanked the controls and stayed tight on their trail. Cold sweat trickled down my spine, but my grip on the rifle stayed firm. I tracked each hog through the scope one by one and pulled the trigger with calm precision. These sharpshooting skills weren't honed for show. They were forged to be the strongest shield this land could ever have. The team pressed on, chasing the fleeing hog as it made a desperate dash toward the tree line, its last shot at survival. But that hope vanished the moment it entered my sights. No wasted motion. The bullet cut through the wind and boom, ended the escape before it ever had a chance. Reflexes and near-perfect precision, this wasn't just skill. It was the instinct of a seasoned hunter.
Oh, big pig! Big pig! 9 o'clock! 9 o'clock! I got him! I got a whole pack of we're on a whole pack of pigs. I'm gonna try and run them to the field. Come my way, ground crew. Come my way. Oh, yeah, let's run the...
In a desperate move, one hog lunged headfirst into a pond. A quick ripple on the water, that was all we needed. We closed in fast, the red dot locked onto the target, and in a split second, the shot dropped it clean. The sweep unfolded at breakneck speed. In under 20 minutes, the field was littered with fallen shadows. But a few lucky ones had slipped through the net, bolting west toward the dry grasslands. I grabbed the radio without hesitation. James, eyes up. You got company incoming. Following the tracks, we moved into the dry fields to close the trap with James, turning the entire area into a no-escape kill zone. Our coordination was flawless. The few remaining hogs had nowhere left to hide. Only one was still running, desperately. But I didn't rush. Steady breath. Calm mind. I waited for the perfect moment. And then crack. One final shot ended its destructive rampage for good.
That one had to have done it. Alright, let them have it.
Every trigger pull was no longer a reflex. It was a calculated move, because we knew that every threat taken down was a step closer to bringing real peace back to this land. At the end of the day, just as we were getting ready to fly out, a hog darted past, almost as if to taunt us. With lightning-fast reflexes, I raised my rifle and squeezed the trigger. It all happened in a matter of seconds, putting a perfect full stop on today's hunt. The success of this battle came down to thorough preparation, timely action, and seamless teamwork among brothers sharing one mission: to protect this land, its people, and their harvest. We returned into Grandma's warm embrace. Her joy wasn't just about the fields being safe, it was the relief in her eyes seeing us come back, unharmed. In this land, peace is something you fight for every single day, and there will always be more who need us. Hit subscribe so you won't miss the next journey.